Yes. Hello, boys. Welcome once again. I was trying to think of the best way to start this podcast. I know I've been giving it large the last few weeks, and I'm left with nothing witty to say. You're tuned into the Top 4 podcast. Myself, Prendy, Ash, Jack, Nath. First recording after the final of the Euro 2020. It's not coming home. It's taking
us a couple of days to do it. Is that because you've been a bit upset, or?
Whoa! I didn't want to bring the group chat into it, but the reason why we're a few days late is literally because of you, Nath.
It's not me. It's not my fault. I was ready on Monday, guys. I was ready to tear into England.
I don't want to bring the group chat into this podcast yet. We're not. When we get a bit bigger, we can bring the group chat into the podcast. But don't you fucking try and blame it on me, mate. But yeah.
Sounds like you, but it sounds like you were dodging the pod all week.
Man, I think I wanted to get rid of it. I wanted to get this out of the way fucking Sunday night, and then
Sunday night straight after Stephen.
I was with some mates earlier, and they were like, "Oh, what are you gonna talk about on the podcast?" I was like, "Fucking England," and it just got me depressed. Like just thinking about this recording.
Yeah.
Obviously,
it was a good game. That was the most important thing.
It was an
entertaining game to watch.
Never
mind the fact that I'm just really glad Italy won it. But
mate, I've never heard anyone celebrate for another team as much as you did on that night, and that's not even a joke. Like we have video footage of that, which will probably get released at some point in the near future.
I'll just see what Jack's like when Wales do well.
There's one point where Jack celebrates Italy winning the Euros, and Tez is just sitting there, and I literally hold on to Jack's shoulder. I'm like, hey, come on, He's right there.
It's right on our Instagram. Yeah. So if you want to check it out on our IGTV reaction,
you also threatened to bang me out as well.
I know. Someone also asked me about that today, and they're like, "I saw a video on your podcast thing. It's like, were you actually starting on that guy?" And I was like, "Oh, that guy. He's the one who doesn't talk much on our podcast, Nath."
Oh, shots fired.
You'll be talking.
I'm ready. I'm ready today. I'm ready to distract everyone away from England's performance. But nah,
still lost the final on there. Sorry.
Let's go to the start. Let's go to the start of the match where the England absolutely so unlike England to have an absolute stormer of a start, isn't it? Absolutely all over them.
And what a goal as well.
Yeah, absolutely
great goal.
In hindsight, that could have been the worst thing that could have happened to us.
Best left back in the world, though. But as soon as Trippier said, I knew it was a goal straight away. As soon as he fucking crossed that, whipped that ball in.
Great ball. Great
player. Really
the two wing backs linking up like.
I know. It's and then Shaw's took that so well. You know, honestly, I don't know if anyone on the field would have taken it as well as him. Like just based off how well he took that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's hit it on the half volley essentially.
Yeah.
Drilled it in off the inside of the post. And
that's
it's a shame because, sorry, carry on.
I was to say that was like what, second minute?
Third minute?
It was 1 minute 56.
Yeah, it's a quickest goal in a final ever as well, isn't it? I think.
I remember you saying we both got sort of mutually agreed. I was like, I don't know how you feel about getting that early goal because you might just sit off now and. Obviously, that's exactly what happened. Usually, you know, you want that second through the dominance. You know, if you don't get that second, everyone knows 1-0 is so shaky because if they equalise, then it feels like the other team are on the up.
Yeah, and like for me, the team was, set up so defensively that early goal just meant like we were just gonna sit on it. And the thing is, like the first half, like we played so like. That was England's best half of the whole tournament, that first half. And even the second half and the rest of it, I'm not even going to say that's their worst half, but like the first half was so good. And I was worried at halftime that we only got one goal.
In the second half, I don't think England touched the ball for about half hour.
Yeah,
it was mental. Italy were just absolutely battering them. And I honestly think that came down to subs as well, mind. Southgate waited too long. Italy made 2 or 3 big subs, got that fresh legs on.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
But he made his first sub, wasn't it, Gareth? Like, it must have been easily gone 70 minutes when he made his first sub, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely 60. Right. Definitely 60.
Yeah,
but like
it's late, and especially after he saw the pressure after the second, as soon as the second half started, he shouldn't really thought about changing it up. It was like the midfield was getting a bit pressed a bit too much. Maybe switch up the midfield, bring someone new in.
But look, like there's so much we could like go into with the subs.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like okay, we're 1-0, and then I think that the subs weren't made until it went back to 1-1. I could be wrong. I think like Henderson was the first sub, wasn't it? Or was it Saka on for Trippier? Right. So I think that happened after
the first goal.
We conceded.
Their first goal.
Everything happened after the first goal, Nath.
No. I know. As I said, I was like, what am I talking about? It was only one.
Apart from the anthems.
Mate, I got pretty bad in that night, to be fair. I haven't had a chance to rewatch it back yet. This is all off a hazy memory.
I've watched it like 4 times.
But like,
I bet you have.
You take so. It's so much to go into. I don't know where to start, but for me, right, let's look at the subs to begin with. Putting on Henderson for his play is obviously great, but putting on Henderson, but then taking him off because you don't think he's going to be in your free kick takers. Takers.
Yeah,
I think that's an interesting one.
That backfired massively, though.
And I think it's interesting if you go back to the friendlies where he missed a penalty for England. It's like. Yeah. And he took the ball off Calvert-Lewin. It's one of those things where you're like, you know what? If he never took that ball off Calvert-Lewin, is he staying on the pitch for the rest of the game? I think he is.
Well, it's all if and buts. Yeah.
I know, but it is a bit mad. And it's like, that was a strange one for me.
Was it like, I saw selection going on penalty kickers as well. I think after Saka, I'm sure I was reading online that apparently it was meant to be Pickford after Saka. Like, why would you have it? Like, if that is true, why would you have a goalkeeper at 6?
Really?
As well? But that's what I was reading.
Well, still Pickford before Sterling and Grealish.
Yeah, apparently.
That bloke is off his head.
Penalty is always a weird one, though. Like everyone has so much to say. Obviously, I know that 3 missed in a row and that was bad. With the Bagham, no one says anything. They obviously had that order because they've been doing well in training, but you can't recreate, can you, the pressure of a final shootout.
But it's apparently Southgate's like he's picked who goes.
Yeah.
It's not been a case of the players saying who wants to go.
Yeah.
That's what it used to be.
Worked out.
That's what it should be like. People who's got the biggest balls and the biggest bollocks get that confidence, be like, no, I want to take one. I want to be one of the first 5. Because it's on them then, do you know what I mean? But at least they've got that confidence where they can step up and say, I want to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, but then I get that, but also like it's like you training ground is completely different to like being in that atmosphere, and like they know this, the coaches and that. But bringing on Rashford and Sancho's probably played an hour of football against Ukraine. Rashford's probably played about 40 minutes over 2 sub appearances. I don't know, maybe it was
not even that.
Maybe it wasn't even that. And it's like for me. And I'm not a fucking football coach or a scientist or a psychologist or anything, but he's not only is it like not coming on like 20 seconds a minute and you're like not warmed up, but you've played like a year essentially without any fans in the stadium.
Yeah, that's true.
And like to come on like that late in front of so many fans in that situation, and I don't think either of them touched the ball before the whistle went. I could be wrong. Sorry if I am. If you're listening to this, I think maybe Rashford might have passed a fucking throw into someone, but apart from that,
he didn't do it with his foot.
And then to then expect them to be like in the biggest moment of their careers, and not just their careers, of any England player in the last 55 years, to then and with Rashford's style of penalties, like stopping and starting, it's just like I don't know. I feel like that making those subs that late. Like I know why he made it late, but like it's hard.
I don't think the warm up. Like they don't have to obviously be warmed up for the pens, but it is that environment. I know they can't recreate it, but at least be playing in front of the fans earlier in the tournament or early on in the game. You you start to get used to your environment, and they never sort of got comfy, did they? It seemed like they were just like, oh, now it's your turn.
I know the occasion got to him a little bit.
Yeah, and like Sancho was up for it. Like I've seen the video. Sancho was like, yeah. He's like looking at Southgate like, yeah. Didn't even look. He's like, yeah, no problem. And like you think, he's looking confident, but you can't recreate those moments, and like you can't recreate those moments ever. But to not play, I know, like to not play in front of the crowd for so long, and like, Sancho's been on the side for so like, do you know what I mean? And not even in the squad for like a couple of games. It's just, it's so hard to bring them on, and now they're the people who it gets blamed on. Before that though, like one thing that we haven't brushed on it, it's just as I know we've brought it up loads of time, like this, we brought up the word Grealish so many times in the last few weeks. But for me, like playing all those defenders and then Phillips and Rice, Mount is not enough. Like he's an amazing player. He won the Champions League. He's done amazing for Chelsea. Like he's got too much stick, but Grealish is like he's come on and he's like, even if he hasn't got an assist, he got the assist against Czech Republic, Germany. He just looked amazing. As a neutral, for you guys watching, you must see like he just brings excitement to the game. Like he does. And players around him, and it's like something's had to have happened. I don't know. Like, saying this, like it's just weird.
Because Southgate kept on getting through. Everyone was like, "Oh, I need to suck Grealish," because he kept on going through. They went, "Okay, fair enough. He must know what he's doing." And then, but it was one of those. As soon as you lose, as soon as like if you're doing tactics, people don't think are suitable. As soon as you lose, people are going to jump on your back. If you're winning, no one can say shit. And I think that's what happens. Yeah,
I get that, but I mean, in terms of this podcast, though, I can be proud to say that I have been slagging off Southgate all tournament.
Yeah,
I have
been proud to say
like,
that.
I can say like even in the semis, I was after the semi, I'm like Grealish, like he just brings more, and like we're only seeing what he's doing in the last half an hour of a game. Like fuck knows what he'll do from the beginning, and like for me, it's like that first half when Italy was so poor. Yeah, I just think if we didn't have because Mount's had a poor tournament.
For me. Like, for his quality, yeah. I mean, what you must think is like the oppositions, they must be thinking Grealish isn't starting. That's like he's only coming on the last 10 minutes. They must be chuffed with that, you know what I mean? And that's where you got to think of it. I think two people should get huge credit is both keepers for the penalty shootout. Both keepers were immense.
Pickford was unreal that day, and like I said, like when they were watching it on the night, I said one of the first people was slate Pickford. I don't think he should have been England's top choice keeper, but he proved himself.
I don't think any of us picked him in like
never
starting England team.
For pens though. I still think he's very shaky and well protected. I think he was a lot better this tournament, but as far as pen goes, he's proven that he's an absolute beast.
He's great.
I loved how when like Jorginho was getting ready and like obviously the ref was telling him like stay on the line or whatever, and he was just like, "No problem, mate. Not a problem."
No, so he said when he's like talking to himself, he's like, "No problem." No problem.
He's got that British sort of swagger. Do you know what I mean? Just like a little English geezer sort of thing, and I like that. But Donnarumma, the size of him, bro. No wonder Rashford, Sancho.
It's crazy.
And did you see my score?
His greens.
He didn't even care when they won it. He just walked off. He didn't even celebrate. He literally just walked off. But
I saw about that. Like nobody did walk off. It was apparently to do with him. He didn't realise they had won it.
No, they were running at him, and he was still just like.
Yeah, he didn't realise.
He knew. He was trying to play it cool.
Yeah,
fair play to him.
PSG going to start him or Navas now though.
Oh, I think.
Have you seen that PSG have got 9 keepers in their squad?
Yeah, I've probably 7. I read it.
Absolutely mental.
That's mad.
It's crazy.
He won player of the tournament as well, didn't he? Or Donnarumma?
Yeah. What I was going to say about him?
Obviously, didn't get Golden Glove though. That's mad. I wonder how many times that's happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever happened. But it'd be interesting to see like how many keepers has one player of the tournament that didn't win Golden Glove.
It's because he had so many pen saves, isn't he? But did he go to pens 2 or 3 times? Italy to get through this tournament?
Twice.
Twice, definitely did it twice.
They beat Spain, didn't they? But like, it's just unfair on Pickford, really. Do you imagine save 2 out of 5 penalties? You're thinking the other players have got me there, and you know what I mean. You think at least you go sudden death. But
I was surprised how gutted I was at the end. I think I was more gutted because I was watching it with you, and I felt so bad for you. Especially the Yelke was there was top off. I was gutted. I think I was gutted for Rashford and Sancho, obviously United players, bringing it back to United. I was proper gutted for them.
Rashford looked so uncomfortable though. Do you see how long he hesitated over the ball? Like his run up was so long.
He usually does it. He's usually fine. He does the step to the side, and then he's usually ice cold. And I was saying Rashford bangs this no problem, and he just looked
the post like.
Yeah, I think what was sad. I think he even said it on the live stream at the end. Might have caught it. Is like soon as they missed, I think everyone knew they were going to get racially abused, and that's sort of how bad the situation's got these days, isn't it? Where it's not even a surprise. But I know it's been in the game a long time, but especially for social media, the last couple of years, it's like every time know.
We've already done an episode on it. That's a problem. It still is. Like we've talked about it before, and I put on my story. I think I just know like the English fans seem to ruin it for themselves, and then they wonder why everyone hates them. And you're like, well, here's fucking Exhibit A. I mean, like, why?
Yeah,
why?
like, so I think.
But I know it's a minority. Like, it's an absolute minority.
No,
but
I don't
unfortunately,
think
It's
I
a
don't
huge
think
amount.
it's not
goes out
just
in London.
it's not just like, so firstly, yeah, look, I think it goes out with saying there's four white men doing this football podcast, like we just don't support anything that's been going on the last few days. But like, it's not just an English football problem.
No,
it's a football problem. It's bigger than a football problem, but it's massive in football. Speaking about it, and it's like, oh, England shouldn't get the 2030 Euros or World Cup or whatever. Sorry, whatever it is. They're like, Boris did his fucking speech the other day and then apologized and then dropped in at the end, like, I hope we can apply. And do you know what I mean? But people are like, oh, there's no way they'll get it now because of this. And the unfortunate truth is that this might not have anything to do with that. You got Qatar hosting it next year with all the slavery issues that have been going on. You had Russia host it in 2018 with all the racism that goes on there. And until FIFA and the UEFA go, you got to hold these standards, you're not going to be able to host this. I can't see stuff changing.
No, but I had so much respect for the English players because I was glad England won, but I was gutted for the players that lost that night. And the response they had to the politicians, like, for example, Tyrone Mings replying to what's her name, Preeti Patel, whatever her fucking name is, saying that, you can't stoke the fire in terms of, by slagging off us taking the knee, and then expect when the fire actually erupts to...
Gary Neville went in on Boris Johnson as well. I don't know if you guys seen on Sky Sports. He was saying it needs to start from the very top. Because it's good. It is putting the spotlight on it, and it is good. These type of sort of big names are coming out on it, and it needs to happen more often, really, isn't it?
Yeah, they're looking into actually banning people who have even been racist online and things like that.
They're
trying to clamp.
That should go without saying, though.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. They're looking to actually do it now, which is a big step forward, I think.
Yeah. I want to ask, as a whole, bring back a bit more back to the football side to finish up on. What would you rate England as a whole in the tournament? And are you Southgate the right man to carry you into the World Cup next year? You don't have to. You don't have to give a reference there. So
I gotta be honest. So look, great tournament for England. You can't. You know what I mean? First final, poor against Scotland. Not our best in the group stages, but I do think at times when we turned it on against Ukraine, we got him back against Germany, and we did Germany not as good as they used to be. Do you know what I mean? I think people want to shit on England. Great tournament. I think the second question is difficult because I Southgate's gone semi World Cup, Euros final with easier run-ins. So you got to be like, he's done amazing, but also easier run-ins. But I do believe, like, and I know if you talk about golden generations, like, I feel like the attackers we have and the squad we have, like, this is a good squad. It's not like we're playing with a shit team and he's just done some masterclass. And I think Mancini, do you know what I mean? And Southgate, Southgate isn't
different
managing.
Levels, isn't it?
Southgate's wouldn't get to a top 10 Premier League club, and that worries me. Like the camp and everything, but in the game, do you know what I mean? When you have to make those subs, you have to alter the team to play against people. That concerns.
He's learning on the job, isn't he? Sort of. Do you know what I mean? He's
he managed in 2005 to 2007 for Middlesbrough. That's it. I know he's done coaching, but so I would love to be proven wrong, but I genuinely don't think England are going to win anything as Southgate manager. I just can't see us winning it. I think I still think we could get. I wouldn't be shocked if we got semis in the World Cup, but I genuinely believe that England will never, ever win anything with Southgate in charge. And that's the headline.
You literally got two penalties in. You were 2 penalties away from winning a major tournament.
I know, but I don't think this Italy team. This Italy team is not like.
Yeah.
The people aren't going to talk about this Italy team for years. They're just not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like. Do you know what I mean? It's just not on that level. And do you know what I mean? Unless he changes things up, and I'd love him to prove me wrong. I'd love you to bring this up before well, not even 4 years, in fucking 18 months' time, or do you know what I mean? I'd love to that be proven wrong, but I genuinely don't know if we'll ever win anything with Southgate.
I reckon Wales-England final, World Cup, Wales winning penalties.
Yes, standard.
I would say I'd take a World Cup final, and I also think that day is a fucking booze up.
But,
shocked. I mean, shocked. Tez thinks it's a final to booze up.
Like. But I can't, I don't want to take the loss, but I'm like, do I want to lose? But then also the night out's gonna be fucking class. So
yeah.
But
no, I was going to say, right, I think the way it ended shouldn't, it doesn't represent the tournament that England had. They had a really good tournament, and I think you bring a lot of positives away from it. And I think you should be hopeful going into the World Cup, especially now the younger boys like Saka and, for example, they're going to be a little bit older, they're going to be even more experienced. And I think that you're going to be even stronger in 18 months' time, which is scary for me to think. But yeah, I just don't think I think it was unfair the way it ended. Like, I was glad England lost, I got to be honest. But at the same time, I felt really gutted for the players, like really, really gutted for the players. So it was weird.
It's just in the match. Do you know what I mean? That's my concern. Like, we've got a great squad. I know we can handle games and like earlier on, but it's like, in those pressure points, I just don't know. Do you know, like there's just a couple we haven't got time to go into it. There's just questionable things happened like at certain times, and I'm just like, what for me, right? I know we're trying to wrap it up, but one of the things that just sticks in my mind is why Sterling stayed on for the whole game when he was clearly not on it in extra time, but then he didn't take the first 5 penalties. For me, I just don't understand. Like, if Sancho was the sub to come on, or Rashford, why didn't he come on for Sterling? Yeah. If he's not going to take the first 5 penalties and he's dead, because Sterling, amazing tournament, England's best player, but he wasn't on it in the extra time, and it's just like, what's going? Do you know what I mean? And from stuff like that, for me, I'm just like, he's got his favourites. They're all going to be getting older. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Qatar and the tournament after, but we'll see.
It's mad how quick the tournament went, though. But next time, I'm going to have to talk about all the transfers. We got so much to catch up on in terms of club football.
4 weeks. Is it 13th of August? Is when the
Championship starts in 3 weeks. The week before.
Right. Madness.
So we've got loads of shit's already happened. So we need to break it down and dissect what's happened or what could happen.
We need some obscure football fans. Like, we don't need any Man United or Liverpool fans. No. We need some more obscure Premier League team fans to pop up and go, I'll come on and chat about my club.
What Sean Dyche, look.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
I'd love to have Sean Dyche. Shall he be at class? Let's get him on.
He just ripped the shit into all 4 of us for an hour.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I'd let him do it as well. He's a big bastard. Fair play to him.
I'd scrap him.
So
many scrap anyone, you fuck.
So many managerial changes as well.
Yeah, loads.
There's lots to speak about in the next.
Loads. But that's to look forward to in the next few days.
Absolutely. All right then, boys. You've been listening to the Top 4 podcast, VARguably, the best football podcast. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, follow, all of that. Keep sharing. We got the new branding now, so we're taking it up a level. Boys, it's always been a pleasure, and it's not coming home.
I was waiting for that.
It's coming home.
Maybe next year, baby.